The Icebox by Brian P. Gross. We fade in to see the Johnson house in the afternoon light. Inside, two young hands rip a loaf of homemade bread in half. Those hands belong to an 11-year-old boy, Aaron Johnson, dressed in turn-of-the-century clothes. He uses a hunting knife to cut off a slice on a handmade wood kitchen table. Aaron turns his head towards the front door.
Mom, we got any cold milk?
Legs, Aaron. You got legs.
Aaron pushes away from the table and goes over to the icebox. As he walks, we see more of the small ranch house, also handmade, right out of the Old West. We're in Montana in 1893. Aaron opens the icebox and looks at what's inside. A glass bowl with a chunk of butter, meat on a plate, fruit, and a metal pitcher. Aaron takes out the pitcher, grabs a glass, pours himself some milk, and sits back down.
And don't forget to put it up. I like my milk cold too.
Aaron rolls his eyes, grabs the pitcher, pushes away from the table again, and opens the icebox. Looking into the icebox, he's suddenly very confused. Aaron sits on the floor, still holding the pitcher of milk. He doesn't take his eyes off the icebox.
Ma? Mother?
Helen Johnson, a handsome woman just shy of 30 years old, bursts through the front door and into the kitchen with her hands full of sudsy, half-washed shirts.
Aaron, you gotta finish your wash yourself if you keep...
And Helen is also confused, staring into the open icebox. She drops to her knees next to Aaron. Soapy water drips from her laundry onto the wood floor. Helen doesn't notice or care. Inside the wood icebox, the old contents are gone. Instead, there's a 12-pack of Diet Coke, a tub of, I can't believe it's not butter, a carton of organic 2% milk, a half-full bottle of Heinz catsup, Paul Newman salsa, leftover Chinese food, half a cheesecake, a tub of Pillsbury Poppin' fresh cinnamon rolls, Philadelphia brand cream cheese, various deli meats, and a pack of Kraft American singles. Helen and Aaron just look into the open icebox, trying to comprehend.
Ma?
I don't know, honey. Did you see...
I didn't do nothing.
Did you see anything?
No, I just opened the icebox to put back the milk in.
Helen reaches into the icebox and very tentatively takes out one perfectly wrapped Kraft American single. She holds it as if it's radioactive.
Is this cheese?
Later in the afternoon, Helen and Aaron are standing outside their ranch house looking off into the distance. It's in the middle of nowhere. There are a couple head of cattle and a small patch of crops, just enough to feed themselves. A horse-drawn carriage appears on the dusty dirt road. As the carriage pulls up, Helen and Aaron greet the driver, a friendly-looking 50-year-old man with spectacles, Doc Charles.
Helen?
Aaron found something. Thanks for riding all this way, Doc Charles. I didn't know who else to...
Well, we best get inside.
Helen shakes her head yes, and Doc leads her into the house. Doc Charles is now examining the half-empty icebox, inside and out. He's feeling along the walnut surface and checking out the iron hinges and legs. He closes the icebox and looks at it, scratching his head. Aaron is at the kitchen table devouring a table full of 21st century treats, and he's just started on the cheesecake. Doc walks over to look at the strange foods.
Doc Charles, you gotta try this pie. It's melted in my mouth.
Aaron holds out the fork with cheesecake on it. Doc barely touches it to his tongue.
Aaron! Doc, you sure it ain't dangerous?
No. It's fine. It's actually fine. I'm more concentrated on where did it come from?
Now Aaron is sucking in a lo mein noodle. Just before it disappears into his mouth, it slaps him in the face. He lips his lips happily. Helen opens the icebox door again. She sighs.
Doc, you might want to come out and look at this.
Doc quickly moves to look into the icebox. Aaron gets up from the table to join them. The icebox is now empty, except for a modern New York Yankees baseball cap, with pinstripes and the letters NY on the front.
Oh, word.
Aaron starts to reach for the cap, then stops, looking for approval from his mother and Doc. They don't respond, so Aaron grabs the cap and gingerly puts it on.
NY must be the name of some railroad. It's an engineer's hat, ain't it?
Doc, any ideas?
I know these things aren't from, they come from somewhere, but they're not around here. What? I'm just not sure.
Helen looks around the small ranch house. She gets up and heads towards a shelf holding only one item, a well-worn rancher's hat. She carefully takes down the hat and starts to put it into the icebox. Doc reaches out to stop her.
Wait, are you sure about that, Helen?
That's Pa's hat.
Well, the pa's been gone near 10 years, son. I don't think he'll be needing it anytime soon.
She puts the hat into the icebox and closes the door.
They sent me a hat. I'm sending them a hat back. Seems fair to me.
So now what do we do?
I guess we wait.
Guess that's right. We wait.
It's night at the Johnson house. Aaron is asleep, still wearing his new cap. Helen and Doc Charles are sitting in front of the icebox, lit by a single candle and talking quietly.
You know, Henry Tinker, he ended up having some chickens missing. It was very mysterious, but it turned out it was just a chicken thief. And you remember old Gregory, the school teacher. He woke up one morning, his son is sitting in the parlor. Hadn't seen him in 5 years. He just popped out of nowhere.
Where did he come from?
Well, it turned out he lived the town over and had a fight with his wife.
Oh,
Helen playfully slaps Doc on the shoulder.
I just can't take it.
She reaches for the icebox and slowly opens it. The hat is gone. In its place is something very shiny. Helen slowly reaches in and pulls out a silver pocket watch. She looks up at Doc and her hands start shaking. She takes a deep breath and puts her thumb on the release to open the watch. She does. The watch pops open. And Helen starts bawling uncontrollably, startling Doc Charles and waking Aaron.
Helen?
It's Noah's pocket watch. It's your pa's watch, boy.
Doc wraps his arms around her, trying to calm her down. As he does, Helen passes the watch to her son. Aaron takes it gently, wiping the sleep out of his eyes as he tries to focus. The inscription inside the cover reads, "To my husband on our wedding day, 24 April, 1882. Helen starts bawling again. Aaron starts crying too, more because his mother is crying than anything else. Doc Charles tries to hold him too.
No, come on, boy. Just come on.
Suddenly, Helen gets up and she jumps over to the kitchen shelf and rips off a piece of old brown butcher paper. She starts looking around frantically for something else.
Aaron, where's that writing pencil? You had a pencil, didn't you? Get it for me.
Aaron just looks at her, wiping away his tears.
Come on, boy, now.
Aaron jumps up and looks through his things until he finds a knife-sharpened pencil. He quickly puts it into his mother's outstretched hand. Helen hands the paper and the pencil to Doc Charles.
You gotta write something for me, Doc. I ain't much of a writer.
I'll try.
Doc lays out the paper on the floor and brings the candle closer. Helen looks over to her son. She places her hand over his hand, the one still holding the pocket watch.
Who are you writing to, Ma?
I'm writing a letter to your pa, son.
Now, Helen, I don't think he's in there. I'm on the other side of the icebox. Maybe he's alive somewhere.
Doc, I don't know what to think. Just write, please.
She smiles again at Aaron, then nods to Doc Charles. She's ready to begin.
Go ahead.
My dear Noah, is that really you? I never thought I'd be talking to you again, except in my dreams, but here I am. Gosh, I miss you terribly. Noah and I are just fine. The crops come in real nice this year, enough for the whole winter. You'd be proud of us, Noah. Real proud. Doc Charles is here visiting. Aaron made him try some of your pie.
Good.
I ain't never remarried, Noah. I'm glad you have your hat back. I know how it fit you just right. When you coming home, honey? Can you please come home? I love you, Noah.
She looks to Doc Charles.
Did you write it all? All of it?
One second. Lesson almost there. My writing's a little bit, well, not like it used to be.
Helen grabs the paper out of Doc Charles's hand, kisses it, and then quickly puts it into the icebox and shuts the door.
Thank you, Doc.
Everyone sits back and takes a breath together. The next day at dawn, Doc Charles is walking into the house carrying a wood pail. Inside, Helen and Aaron are asleep on the floor in front of the icebox. Doc Charles pours the contents of the pail into the metal pitcher. It's fresh milk. He absentmindedly goes to put it into the icebox, then stops. He doesn't dare open it. He puts the pitcher down on the counter, which wakes Helen.
Doc?
I'm sorry, Helen. I was just getting some milk here.
No, I wanted to wake up. Is the letter still there?
Well, I don't know. I was waiting for you.
Helen gets up and checks on Aaron. He's still sleeping.
Well, ain't but one way to find out.
She opens the icebox door and looks up at Doc. He peers inside. Helen's letter is gone. There's something new in its place, a camcorder. The LCD display is flipped open. Helen carefully takes the camcorder out of the icebox.
What in God's name is it?
I've never seen anything like it.
Look, there's some writing on a little yellow piece of paper here.
Doc Charles looks at the yellow post-it stuck to the side of the camcorder.
Push this button.
Helen is about to push the button, then pauses.
Wait.
You think this is from Noah?
Doc Charles grabs Helen's hand and uses her finger to push the button. The camcorder starts to make a noise. The monitor starts to flicker. The camcorder monitor comes on just in time to see Noah, a good-looking 35-year-old man talking into the camera.
Hi, Helen. I got your letter.
Oh,
Thank you, God.
Wait, right there, boy.
In the small camcorder image, Noah is wearing a 21st century button-down shirt and has a 21st century haircut. He's leaning against a kitchen counter in a small 21st century apartment. He slips on the rancher's hat that Helen sent earlier.
Thanks for the hat. I know you have a million questions. I do too. First of all, I'm just fine. That day I disappeared, well, I just walked into the miller's barn like I've done 100 times before, and here I was. Felt like I was swallowed up by the doorway and spat out in another time and place. Like I tried for months to find my way back to you, to find another doorway, but
Aaron has crawled over to Helen. She pulls him up onto her lap. without taking her eyes off the moving images of her husband.
Finally, I just had to get on with my life. I got myself a job, found a place to live. I miss my real home, something terrible. And no, I ain't never remarried either. It makes me feel good to hear that you and Aaron are doing well. With you as his mom, I'm sure he's grown up to be good and strong. If you're watching this, Aaron, I think about you every day, son. Then yesterday, everything in my refrigerator, my icebox, disappeared. But when I saw my hat, I knew. I just knew. I don't know how long this is gonna last, how long we'll be able to do this, so I better quit talking. Please, send a photograph if you have one. I can't wait to see you, Helen. And see my boy, my young man.
Aaron jumps up and goes to a cupboard. He takes out what appears to be a piece of cardboard.
I love you both. Bye.
The monitor goes to black and white snow, then to an electronic blue. Doc Charles picks up the camcorder, looks it over a bit and turns it off.
I still have more questions than answers.
I'm just glad he's all right, that God took care of him and gave us this time together.
Aaron shakes his head in agreement and places the piece of cardboard into the icebox. Sitting in the icebox, it's clear the cardboard is a photo of Aaron and Helen taken at a county fair. Helen takes off Aaron's new cap and ruffles his hair.
We'll have him home again one day. I just know it. Right, Aaron? Your pa's coming home.
Yes, ma'am. Pa's coming home.
Aaron moves closer to the icebox door and sits down next to his mother. She puts his cap back on and pulls him in close. They seem happy and relieved and at peace. From the outside, the Johnson house also seems peaceful. But as the only structure on an endless landscape, it also seems more and more isolated. We fade out.